This city is fallen, Alfred.
Then we must endeavor to lift it up again, Bruce.
Hello Gothamites, welcome to the Gotham Knight channel, and this is a very special episode because we are going to be able to finally give our take on the Batman The Long Halloween Part 1, the animated film that just came out. And I wanted to really sink in. As you guys know, I'm not going to be the first one out with drama or stories and reviews, because I like it to fully sit in, so that way I can go ahead and get my full take. Okay. The film was released on June 22nd, which was a pretty special day for me. And if you guys have been listening to the show from early on, I decided to really dive in and do the Batman show because of my sister, who passed away from, of course, the coronavirus, and very hard day. So this is a little bit in honor to her, because it came out on the day that she was born, June 22nd. So a very special day for me. So having the film come out on a very special day, even so more greater. It was of course a great comic book story, and it made it very special day for me. So I just want to let you guys know about that. But yes, I want to go ahead and give you my review of the Long Halloween Part 1, and what are we going to take away from this? What were some of the the great points from it? So yeah, let's go ahead and dive in. I'm really excited, guys. So it's kind of you could learn from there. But this film, based on the critically acclaimed graphic novel Batman, The Long Halloween, shows that it starts off with Lieutenant Gordon and DA Harvey Dent race against the calendar as it advances towards the next ill-fated holiday, which the killer is killing on every holiday. And it is a story that, how do I say this? Hush, the animated film, pretty much didn't do real good justice to the book. And for a little while, I felt like DC Animation was just trying to, cash in on stories that we all loved. And I think they felt that too. Here's the thing about The Long Halloween. They followed the book, but made it expand a little bit better, if that makes sense. And when seeing this film, I had no idea of the cast. I purposely like to know some things, and I purposely don't want to know some things. And so I wanted to wait. I wanted to see how this was gonna, pan out and see. It was an amazing film. I'll say that. The film was absolutely amazing. Blew me away. Completely blew me away. I had no idea that the casting that went into this. Okay. I want to say that right out the bat. No idea that the cast was going to be really this good. So we start off with the film where, of course, organized crime is in Gotham City, and of course with Bruce taking on a meeting, and the credits were amazing. The credits at the beginning were amazing because it paid homage to Tim Sale's artwork, which Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb that did the book, the story for The Long Halloween. Amazing grouping took place. But yes, so the animation when the story starts off is, of course, showing Bruce and, Carmine Falcone coming in and talking and, trying to find out about the biggest mystery, right, is Bruce Wayne's parents, how they truly were. Were they really that nice? Were they really who they say they were? And, it's a bit of a mystery. And I think these stories like to, take us on that adventure. But Carmine Falcone is, talking to Bruce and trying to talk to Bruce about, trying to join him and stuff like that. But there are elements of this film that definitely take you back to the 20s and the 30s, and I love that, where Carmine Falcone sends a message to the Maronis by shooting up the place, one of his restaurants. And I thought at that moment that nobody was killed, like they didn't show anything, so I was like, oh man, it's not gonna take it to that level, right? So it's gonna still stay like, the usual status quo that, we're not gonna see blood, we're not gonna see these different type of things. Well, I was wrong, because as we travel and we see one of Falcone's henchmen killed. Now, he was of course going to be one of the guys that was going to sing to the DA, so he had to get eliminated. And this is the first death that happened with the calendar person striking on the holiday, right? So that was very cool. But they showed the blood. They showed the blood in the bathtub, which I was like, okay, great, all right, we're gonna tell a real tale. And I always talk about growing up, right? So I love some of the fun banter between Bruce and Alfred, and the fight that Jim Gordon has, where he can't be a at home dad. He's the captain now, right? He's not even the commissioner, right? We're so used to calling him Commissioner Gordon, but in this film he's a captain, and you see how the dilemma of letting down his daughter in here. There were stories that in the book, there were short how do you describe this? In the book, you have the part where you knew Harvey Dent was having issues with his wife Gilda Dent, and that we knew that there was the issues when you're reading the book. But in the animation, they expanded on that. The character development, that's what I should say. The character development that the studio paid very close attention to, and expanded on the theme with Gilda, I thought was brilliant in this film. Character development is so important, but they made it better. We got to see more of that dilemma between Gilda and Harvey, and Harvey, we know who Harvey Dent is, but you get to see that fight in between them. And you're gonna see definitely elements. If you've never read this book, you're gonna see where movies like Batman Begins and other movies through this time that and animations that have taken part of the Long Halloween, so it's going to be kind of familiar. And I know that Matt Reeves didn't like that DC was doing the Long Halloween, because the Batman movie that he's doing with Robert Pattinson takes heavily away from the Long Halloween. So I don't see a problem with that. I mean, we're definitely gonna get some great insight from that. But there was another surprise. So the character development on Gilda Dent, amazing. And the story progresses, and we see how Jim, Harvey, and Batman are all working together, to figure out this case. The next highlight, which was total surprise to me, was Catwoman. The exchange between Batman and Catwoman in this film was this is what I love. This is what I love about the relationship of Catwoman, and it's basically you're in love with something, and that something loves you equally back, but it's just not gonna work. It just doesn't work, and you feel sad at those points, like, oh man, and the film captures that. If a film can capture emotion, make you feel emotion, I think that's where, this film strengths are. And very wonderful surprise. I'm going to dive in more into the cast. I'm going to go into the cast because I want to break that down for you guys. So, the story continues, of course, as we see Carmine Falcone having a meeting, like, hey, his guy just got whacked, and there's a guy that's overzealous about wanting to do something, and Carmine Falcone pretty much lets you know that he's a nice guy. We're gonna get along. I honestly love Batman, love the Joker. I'm probably more closer to Carmine Falcone, to be honest, because this guy just, you know what? He's gonna take a lot. He's gonna think about it, and if you go the wrong way, he's definitely gonna let you know and extrude and show you his force. And that's what I loved about them showing Carmine Falcone. And you see the dilemma with him, his son, right? So Alberto Falcone in the film definitely is not Daddy's favorite, and pretty much of a letdown, right? So this goes on, and of course we continue on, and it continues to where you see all these stacks of books, and stacks of money, which is gonna think, oh wait a minute, I saw that in The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger. Well, they got it from somewhere, right? Christopher Nolan and Chris Nolan got the idea of the stacks of money from, of course, The Long Halloween. And that playful banter, and you see a little bit of Harvey right there where he says, man, we were different, man. And Batman is like, but we're not. He goes, let's flip a coin. Heads we burn it, tails we don't. So, of course, he flip it, it's heads, and it blows up. Harvey then goes home, reaches in his pocket, and realizes that he has a coin, and he looks down, and he says, make your own luck. And it's a double-headed coin, a la, guess what? The Dark Knight, right? So you'll see those little sequences in there. And that's not paying homage to The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight took that from the Long Halloween story. That's how good this story was. So we see more of Harvey's and Gilda's issues, and of course Carmine Falcone, we're led to believe, blows up the house of Harvey Dent. And that's where we see, where we think, right, that Harvey Dent is now deformed, and we think that that's the part. So very cool sequence. I know the sequence from Chinatown is a very cool fight. Of course, very different from the book, but very cool fight. I thought that was great. I thought that was great for them to put it in there. But you also see the relationship with Catwoman again, and that love relationship. But you also have where they have an escape down to the sewers, and we see Solomon Grundy. And I love Grundy. I don't know if you guys are big fans of Grundy, but I'm a huge fan of Solomon Grundy. Love Grundy. And of course, it would go to the hospital, and that's where we're seeing if Harvey is deformed, and we see the issues where Batman and Gordon are talking, and Carmine Falcone pretty much has his fill of his son and teaches his son a lesson because he had sent flowers to the Dents, trying to send a message, right? And Carmine Falcone says that he doesn't, of course, doesn't speak for the family. Jim is going home, trying to go home to the kids because it's, Thanksgiving, and he sees Harvey Dent out on the streets waiting outside the building where Carmine Falcone is being housed at. Of course, that's his house. But he's out there in his robe that he just just left the hospital, and Jim tries to bring him back in, and you're really seeing that side of it. And as Thanksgiving's taking off, Batman went and took a plate of Thanksgiving trimmings to Solomon Grundy in the sewer, and I thought that was very cool for them to do. This is the part of character development. They could have cut that out and they didn't have to put that in there, but they did, and I thought that was very cool. I think that makes the story even that much greater. And of course, it's Thanksgiving, some more deaths are coming across, and a massacre comes to Chinatown. That was definitely a lesson. Then they go to, we see that Jim and Batman go to Arkham Asylum and go talk to Calendar Man. And Calendar Man, amazing performance. We're going to go ahead and get into this. And the Calendar Man is such an underrated character, and I think this film does him justice, even more so. So we then, get the little clues, and we're like, where's the Joker? And now we get to see the Joker, right? You're almost maybe 50 minutes in the film, and then you get to see the part of the Joker, and Joker comes, he's Harvey Dent, and pretty much Joker reveals it, that he goes, the gun that is being killed with everyone, he goes, did you lose one? This gun that was hidden in Harvey Dent's home. So it's already giving you the clues, like, wait a minute, that gun is the same gun that's being used to kill on all these holidays. And I like that it was fitting that the Joker goes and pays a visit to Harvey and talks about it. And the Joker, another thing that we're going to talk about on casting, amazing performance. So after he leaves, we see that, of course, it's Christmas, so another death is coming, and it sure enough does. After the Joker pays a visit to Carmine Falcone, very great exchange, he then heads out. Of course, Joker card and all, and the henchman is trying to go. One of Carmine's main guys, his guy that protects him, went out to go after the Joker, turns around, and then gets shot. And that's the death for Christmas. And so we continue on with Batman and Alfred in the Batcave trying to figure out this crime, bringing up all the suspects, and they're like, well, who's this one person? Like, who is this guy? And they're thinking that it's Alberto Falcone, which leads into the next thing where Carmine Falcone is having a big gala in his yacht, and everybody's there. Mayor, officials, everyone's there, even his worst enemy, which is Sal Marone. So Maroney's there, and we see his son. He thinks that Carmine makes a speech, and he thinks that his son thinks that his dad's gonna talk about him, but he actually mentioned Bruce Wayne, because Bruce Wayne is there, not Batman. Bruce Wayne is there in there, and he talks about like the son that he never had, and of course the son's already pretty much peed off, and we see the Joker planning his thing about New Year's, and he's gonna gas the whole city. And I do think that part Jeff Loeb took from the 1989 film with Tim Burton with the Jack Nicholson and the all the gas and smoke and everybody right there. But then we also get the breakup of Catwoman and Batman. Well, Bruce Wayne, Selina Kyle and Bruce Wayne, and it's just not meant to be. I felt this was a very important part for the story, something that they captured very well. And then it's New Year's and the cops, they have a large cop gathering in downtown Gotham, and the Joker is being on his way to definitely take out all the coppers, all the fuzz, whatever you want to call them. And amazing sequence with the Joker, of course, amazing, and not just because I'm a Joker fan, but it was amazing. So we have him, and of course Batman flowing his, coming in, and ruining Joker's day, and Catwoman listens to Alberto while they're still on the yacht, and this is going on. So you have these two big events going on, and he pretty much, wondering that, if Batman says, Alberto, you're the holiday killer, you have a reason. Alberto kind of flips, but then we find out as fireworks go off that it wasn't him. The holiday killer is above them, and he starts to take out Alberto Falcone. And then we see Batman cover Catwoman, protects her. Of course, love that part, right? They just broke up, but he's protecting her because of the love. And then we see the killer get away on a boat, goes out, turns to a sequence where Batman was, of course, foiled the Joker's plot, and then we see Gordon and Harvey talking like, hey, what are we doing here? And then we see Batman and say Batman's filling them in on how the holiday killer just killed Alberto Falcone, and what's taking place. And that's where the film pretty much ends, but you gotta stay because there is actually a end scene in this film. That's right. So you gotta stay till after the credits, and we see, you let the credits play, and it's at the funeral of course, Carmine Falcone's son, Alberto. And then he's like, hey, Carmine Falcone says, hey, Bruce, I want to introduce you to my new associate. And then she comes across, shake his hand, and guess what? It's Poison Ivy. And her vines come out to Bruce's and kind of controls him. Well, you see the exchange in his eyes, and that's where it ends. Okay? So let's get into the casting. And what an amazing job that this was. Now, this was just directed by Chris Palmer. The screenplay was done by Tim Sheridan. Of course, the original writer was Jeff Loeb. And let's get into the cast. First, Batman, Jensen Ackles. I have heard of this guy because of Supernatural, and never watched the Supernatural. I heard it was a great show. I heard people liked it, and it just wasn't my thing to follow up on. Jensen Ackles, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, an amazing voice for Batman. Like, here is the level, guys. Kevin Conroy is the definitive voice for Batman, hands down. Every other Batman voice would now have to come after Jensen Ackles. He did an amazing job. If they never cast Kevin Conroy again, it's because Jensen Ackles is that good. And I'm not even skipping a breath saying that. He did an amazing job. like I was completely floored by this guy's voice. Like I said, I've never watched Supernatural. I've never heard or seen this guy act or do anything. He did a plus plus job on this film. I was just blown away. Other voices I could hear and tell you like, yeah, this is not working. Especially anyone after Kevin Conroy, and I'm just blown away. Jensen, you did an amazing job. Bravo to you. Josh Duhamel as Harvey Dent. Great job. I mean, not only is the guy definitely a great actor from, film and TV, but man, what an amazing job playing Harvey Dent and capturing that essence of Harvey. Josh, you did an amazing job. The one that got me really sad was because I never watched her before, and that's Naya Rivera. And I understand that she was from Glee. I know my wife has tried to get me into that show, and I just never could get into it. And wow, Naya Rivera doing the Catwoman voice, an amazing job as well. One of the greatest surprises also with Jensen. Like, I was so surprised by these voices for this film. Casting director did an amazing job. Like, oh my goodness, like, yes, wow. Naya Rivera, of course, if you don't know, she passed away last year. She had drowned at a lake near in LA, and unfortunately she was not able to survive, but luckily her 4-year-old was able to survive and stay on a boat, and unfortunately she drowned, which is very sad because now I'm a huge fan of hers. She is now part of the Batman lore for me. She is definitely one of the great voices for Catwoman, hands down, and what an amazing job. What an amazing job she did. Of course, we have the Joker. And I've been lucky enough to meet Troy Baker and know him. What an amazing guy he is. Very talented voice actor, and musician. A lot of people might not know that. His Joker is so on point. It's almost like Mark Hamill's, but it's not. And it's perfect that it's not. Because Troy Baker allows his Joker to be his Joker. And he did an amazing job with the video game Batman Arkham Origins. He was the voice on that Joker. Troy, buddy, you did an amazing job. Man, always great as Joker. You have Billy Brooke as Commissioner Gordon. You have Frances Collier as Nurse Tamara. You got to watch the film. Good role. You have Greg Chun, who is Mickey Chun's voice that was killed in the Chinatown massacre that day. And then you have David Dashmushin. Dashmushin. I know I'm messing up that name. So I'm gonna try to get you guys a very special interview with David. David was also in The Dark Knight, that had one of the cycles that was released from Arkham that the Joker released, where it had Rachel Dawes' name on there when Harvey Dent was in the ambulance with him. David's also coming up in the upcoming film Suicide Squad as Polka Dot Man. So David did a wonderful performance as Calendar Man. Like I said, Calendar Man is a character that people just assume, throw away, this guy's nothing. But I think David gave the character such a dual image of, wait, who is this guy? And who's Calendar Man? Like, what's this about? I think David did an amazing job of pulling off a character that is not well known. But I think because of David, you might like Calendar Man, and David did an amazing job. And definitely we'll go ahead and try to have him on a show, and a special sit down with him. Alistair Duncan, amazing job as Alfred Pennyworth. Definitely brought his A game with voicing Alfred, and his presence of the support that he has for Bruce in that. You have Gary Leroy Gary, who played Pierce. Amy Lackner, who played Barbara Gordon's voice, only in the film for a little bit. Julie Nathanson, she played Gilda Dent. Wonderful job in pulling off a character that wasn't very developed. I'm not gonna say. Let me say this different. Gilda had a role in the Long Halloween comic book, but it was not one that gave it precedence to be in the film too much. However, the animation pulled that off amazingly, and I think Julie, you did an amazing job with pulling Gilda off and giving us that little bit more in-depth feeling for her. We have Jim Perry, who did Sal Maroney's voice. Jack Quaid, little bit of surprise here. He was Alberto Falcone's voice. Jack Quaid had a very great performance in this film. Fred Tatascore, I hope I said that right. He did the voice of Solomon Grundy. Grundy came out and had some lines, not too many, so don't expect too much. But then you had Titus Wolver, who did the voice of Carmine Falcone. Wow. No, Titus is known for his show Bosch on Amazon. It's an Amazon original show. He's the one that did Carmine Falcone's voice. Amazing job. This cast was amazing. So here is, I know this is a very long episode because it's a great story. The animation, the art in this was amazing. The art was so well done. Animation did change up their style, right? Because DC Animation has had, what I call they had the Bruce Timm style for a little while, and then they changed it up and they went to a different style. This style right here, for the Long Halloween, they need to keep it. The lines were a lot thicker. It definitely separated the characters from the environment, which was wonderful. I think it was a great sequence in art animation. You guys need to keep that part. Capturing the city, having that Art Deco style. I always talk about that, guys. Gotham City is definitely Art Deco. You gotta have that in that industrial look. You gotta have that. They captured that. They did that to an amazing job. The vehicles, the time period, that feeling, amazing job in capturing all what needed to be translated into a story. And the art team behind this, amazing job. Chris Palmer directed his butt off in this film. Amazing job in directing it and doing a great job in it. Batman The Long Halloween, it to me was a great film that I was very surprised by because of what they've done with Hush, and some of the other stories that were not well done. This is a turning point for DC Animation, and an amazing job by this team, an amazing work by this team. The film itself, a great story, great character development, great voice actors. I honestly wanted to go on more and more. I've seen this thing 4 times. That's how good this is. This is something that if you're a Batman fan, definitely get your popcorn. You gotta get your popcorn and watch this film. It is a masterpiece unto itself. And next month, I cannot wait for part 2. This is a great accomplishment for the team in making this animation, and I just want to say bravo. This is definitely a film that I love. Now, of course, there were some and we're gonna nitpick, right? But it's very small nitpicking in some parts that were slow. So I will say that there was very small parts that were slow. So I want to give you my scale, and in my scale, this is definitely, out of 5 batarangs, this is definitely a 4 batarang movie. And not to hinder the 5th, why they could not get the 5th batarang, it's just very hard for you to get a 5th batarang out of me, because it just has to be that great. It has to be that good. And the 4 is amazing. The 4 batarang is amazing. Because I'll tell you right now, I would probably not even give Hush 2.5 batarangs. That's how bad that one was. But the fact that you guys got a 4 batarang out of me, amazing job in capturing it. Jensen Ackles, I can't wait to hear your voice again with more Batman behind it. I honestly feel that he's probably a Batman for the new generation, to be honest. Is that scary how good he was. So yeah, guys, so that's my take on The Long Halloween. I want to hear your comments. Let me know in the comments, did you like this film? Was this one of your favorite takes? And do you like these in-depth breakdowns of these films? This is something that if we were in a comic book shop, this is a discussion that we would have. So let me know in the comments, did you like it? What did you feel about this? And if you want to have a watch party, should we have a live watch party? I'll finally show my face. I mean, if you go back in some videos with the Keaton, you'll see my face. It's ugly, but very cute at the same time. Just kidding. So you guys let me know if you guys want to have a watch party. We'll do a live watch party here on YouTube, and we can all watch it together. And we can do comments and everything. So you guys let me know. So I'm gonna go ahead and duck out of here. I got a lot of stuff to do. I got to go down to Gotham Works and pay some bills, and then get a coffee at the Gotham City Coffee. So we're gonna go ahead and capture you guys later. So don't forget to like and subscribe and tell your friends about us. Okay, so you guys have a wonderful day out in Gotham City. Take care.